Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to everyone that continues to follow me. Again, I appreciate you as always. Um, just a couple of things here. Just want to make sure that we're streaming live. So, want to just take a moment and one, give a shout out to everyone who's here, of course, but also just check real quick and make sure this is going where it needs to be. So, just give me 1 second here. 1 second. Hey Terry, thanks for shouting out here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So it looks like we're good. Thanks Terry for the shout out because I was starting to think something was going on here. So thank you Terry. Thanks for being here. Um, Wanted to come on real quick. Um, we had the debate in a little less than an hour. So of course, for all of you who are watching, I promise I won't be here long. But again, I want to say thank you for being here. So if you are new, my name is Tanita Joy Abraham, otherwise known as Joyful on Facebook, Joyful the Legacy Advisor, etc. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for following me and taking some time out today. Hey, Selena, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Appreciate you as always. It's my birthday twin. Y'all, we had the same birthday. So shout out to Selena. Thanks for joining. Also, if you are new, definitely drop newbie in the comments for me. Just wanted to make sure I give you a shout out and recognize you and follow up with you later. So, of course, if you have any questions or need anything, you know how to reach me. And then, of course, if you're a regular, like everyone else, just say hello in the comments, shout out where you're from. And, of course, as always, like, share, start a watch party, whatever. And if you're watching in a replay, also definitely hashtag replay in the comments as well. I definitely want to recognize all of you guys that have been sticking with me for so long and have been supporting me. Because listen, if you don't know by now, there are people who say they support you and they show you that they don't support you. So I want to make sure that I recognize those who do both because at the end of the day, listen, it's hard out here working for yourself. And you have to have that support is what keeps you going. So I appreciate you guys always. Um, Real quick, as always, I want to send a shout out to Vogue Me. This is a new pair of glasses for you. If you can see here, I apologize. I cannot get rid of this glare, y'all, for anything, but it just seems to just want to follow me. It's something with my computer. So hopefully I'll be able to get with my coach and get that taken off sooner or later. But this is my new pair. Trying to show off a little bit tonight. So I know you guys love to watch me in my glasses. I actually get requests on them all the time. So if you're interested in a pair of glasses, these glasses I believe cost me $12 on VogueMe.com. I think it was $12 on sale. And then of course, as always, if you go there and you're shopping and looking around, don't forget to use the coupon code TANITA A. That's TENITA. You get an extra 15% off for using my code. So thank you guys for just want to give that shout out there. So because of that, I am also going to take the glasses off so I can see myself. The site is Vogue Me, VOOGUEME.com. I'll go ahead and put that in the comments. So we are getting ready for the debate in a little bit. So as always, I will not hold you long. So definitely, I want to go ahead and jump right in. I have a couple of things to go over real quick. A lot of you may remember that I posted a while back, sometime last week, just talking about it is fourth quarter. So if you're a football player, basketball player, whatever sport you can think of, fourth quarter is the finality. Fourth quarter is when you step your game up. And I just wanted to make sure that we are all stepping our game up so we rep out this totally trying year that we've all had. I don't care if you still have your job, if you don't have a job, if you got a stimulus check, if you don't have a stimulus check, if your kids are out of the house and you're not teaching school from home or not it's still been a year of shift and a year of change. And hopefully, you guys have been rolling with the punches and making things work successfully for you guys. Because if you haven't learned anything by now, is that we have to be prepared for whatever. Um, we usually wait till New Year's to start preparing for the following year. A lot of us came into this year with new goals, 2020 vision, things like that. And at the end of the day, we still was caught off guard. So I just wanted to just give a few little things real quickly that I thought about coming into this year that I saw that I wish I would have spoken on, even when it came to the virus. Some things that I was going through with my father made me suspicious, and I didn't speak on it. And then here we are. But hey, Don. Hey, James. Thanks for joining. Give you guys a shout out there. But just a few things that I want to make sure that you guys know. If you're not thinking about, definitely think about these few things as you wrap up the year. You still have 3 months, a little less than 3 months left. We still have a ways to go. So let's get to it. Number one, if you don't already have one, have a financial emergency or contingency plan. Have a financial emergency or contingency plan, meaning have a backup plan for your job. If you don't have another job, if you have one business, don't have a second backup business. I don't care what it is. Right now, we know that in a blink of an eye, something can change. And let's say we get back to normal, like everything, like, let's see, we've gone through anthrax, that went away. Weapons of mass, I think one of my girls mentioned earlier, weapons of mass destruction, that went away. Iraq, that went away. Everything that's happened, it just comes, and then just like that, it seems like it's going back to normal, and then we have to go through something and just shake us right back up and catch us off our game. And a lot of times we're not prepared. This particular situation, we know that now, if we didn't know before, the coronavirus is not a new virus. It's something that's been around forever. It's just evolved every few years. And my thing that I thought about was, listen, 5 years from now, we'll be forgot about COVID, forgot about everything else, and then probably another thing will come up, and then we're caught off guard. So with that, we don't want to go into the next 5 years without something different changing in our life, especially when it comes to how we feed our families or feed ourselves, pay our bills, whatever. So if you have not started looking into any type of side hustle job, anything to make money on the side, I implore you to do that. Whether you do it once a month, once a week, whatever, get that knowledge and that foundation going now, simply because you just never know what's going to happen. How many people this year lost their job? And they were all frontline workers. But how many people lost their job or had to change their job or can't work because, hello, they're a caregiver for a senior who now is home all the time, or they have to make sure their kids go through school. So now you have two-parent households where one may not be able to work because somebody has to stay home with the kids. And DSS is watching, so it's not like you can get around that. Hello? So listen, I just want to definitely get that seed planted in you guys. Just there's so many things out there. Look around on YouTube, even just searching for side hustles. And there's so many things using your voice. I need somebody for a voiceover, for example. I need somebody to help with another business, for example. So there's a lot of things out there that are very easy that you can do, just even if you're just putting $20, $30 in your pocket one time. At least that's something you can fall back on. So always have a fallback plan. Always be ready to pivot when you need to, and definitely get that started. Second thing I mentioned on one of my first videos is check your accounts. Make sure everything is in order, whether it's your retirement plans, your beneficiaries, your life insurance, your beneficiaries, your bank account, your investment accounts, your beneficiaries. I say this over and over and over and over again because one of the things that I took away from my experience of being a financial advisor is, and even in my own life, I'm just going to be realistic, put it out there. When it comes to mourning, when someone leaves this earth, if things haven't been discussed and they aren't in order, it's one thing to deal with family. It's a whole completely different process when you're dealing with financial institutions, the state, probate. It's a whole nother level. Don't have your family go through that unexpected end of your life, your time in their life, and not have to, and have to also deal with the pain and the drama of dealing with the banking companies and things like that. It's aggravating. A lot of people didn't realize that in a bank account also, for my married couples, even if you have your hidden account per se, even if you have your hidden account, you can put what's called a payable on death on that account for when that day comes, and they don't have the time for it. So even if you don't have joint account, joint assets and everything, you can put a payable death on a bank account, and whatever happens to you, the bank doesn't have access to that. The state doesn't have access to that. Whatever happens to you, if they go looking for your money, go looking for your bank account, then the bank has to let them know, well, hey, such and such is the beneficiary in this account. We need to deal with them in the discussion. So even if you didn't know it was there, or if they didn't know it was there because that was your play account or whatever the case may be, at least at the end, they still have access to it, which that is most important. So definitely put a payable death, right, Selena, on your accounts. Thank you, Selena. Put a payable on death on everything. Your brokerage accounts, transfer on death. Your bank assets, payable on death. Makes a huge difference. Banks are probably just as much a pain to deal with as the state. I worked for two major banks. Trust me, I know. That's another one. Third one, save differently. We can't save like we were before. As a financial advisor and industry for so many years, we always said, always have at least 6 months of savings set aside. Well, listen, this started in what, February? It's October. If you had 6 months of savings aside and you did nothing else, where would that leave you if you had lost your job in, let's say, March? You'd still be struggling. So I would say go back to, we would say 6 months, maybe a year at the most. I would say definitely started trying to aim for a year of savings. If that's your only goal next year, if that's your only goal next year, that's the thing you should do. Try to aim for at least a year worth of savings. And the savings doesn't have to be in your bank account. It just needs to be something that's liquid within a matter of days. It can be your investment accounts. As long as you have that set aside, you should be good to go. But I say, instead of doing a typical 6 months referral, go ahead and do 12 months at least. Because we don't know what's coming next. We don't know, we know where we've been. We never know where we're going. So at the end of the day, at least go for, I would say, 9 months to a year worth of savings set aside. Again, that could be something as simple as your investment accounts, retirement account that you may be able to just pull money from at any given time, but you definitely want to have it set aside. So save differently, which brings me to also invest differently. Invest differently. A lot of people feel that investing only consists of just buying stocks and companies that you are familiar with. And what we see now is that's not always the case. A lot of people like to go on cruises, so they had cruise ship stocks. A lot of people travel a lot, so they stayed in certain hotels, or they ate in certain restaurants, so they shopped in certain stores. And the reality is, if that's where most of your money went, because, sorry, my aid's going in and out of the door. But if that's where all of your money went, right now, you're worried about whether or not your money would come, your investments will come back. And a good bit of those probably will not come back. So this brings me back to the point of, you hear a lot of times we talk about diversification. Look into things that have good cash on hand foundation. We talk about this in the Bacchus. Shout out to my Bacchus crew. Hey, Sharifa. We talk about this in the Bacchus all the time. You definitely want to make sure that you look at companies differently, not based on the popularity only, but also take into consideration what their foundation is. Simply because the companies that are not making it right now, the companies that are begging for money right now, a good bit of them did not plan. We complain all the time about all these CEOs making all this money in the company all the time. And then here we are, the CEOs are not struggling for their own private lives, but the company and the employees are. So something to keep in mind when you're looking at companies, it takes a couple of minutes to go to Yahoo Finance and really learn about the companies in depth and look at it just like you look at your bank account. If you can look at your bank account and evaluate how you are and tell if you're broke, you should be able to look at the financial statements for the company that you are putting your future into and understand what's most important and what's really a good company to invest in. So shift how you invest differently. Do take the time to take some classes. As long as you are, I push Abacus all the time. Abacus is the best platform that I've seen out there so far to really get you deep into learning the financial industry. Financial education is most important to me because in my years, 20 plus years of being in the business, it's just so much out there. It takes a lot to put in. I mean, it took me years to learn the things that I've learned, and even taking that course again into a whole nother level, as you guys know. So anyway, just want to say, look at your investments differently. Even your 401ks, they have fact sheets. They have what's called Lipper reports. If you just go and log into your 401k account and click on the fund you're invested in, it'll tell you the information that you need. I might need to do a video on that one night. I might do that later so you can see how to look into your investments. But pay attention, check them more than once a year, check them more than a few times, check them as often as you can. But keep in mind that the long-term investments, speaking reference to your retirement accounts, they're long-term investments for a reason, but you definitely want to know where your money is. Hey, Don, yes, thanks for that little shout out. And put your children on as an owner on any of your accounts as well. So if you're not married, you don't have a spouse or anything that you want to make sure that goes to your kids, definitely put your kids on the account as well. Again, it just takes a couple of seconds to fill out a piece of paper to update that information. And that's one less thing you have to worry about, especially when you're on, you're in those final moments. And because trust me, I know from experience that when you're in those final moments, not knowing if you're going to get up out of that hospital bed, one of the things you think about the most is, did I do everything right? Did I take care of my kid or my loved one? You're here, you may be asleep to them, but you also hear what they're saying. You hear the doctor to hear the doctors tell your family, find their paperwork, call in family members, things like that. And to lay there knowing that you didn't prepare for this moment is the worst feeling to have before you leave this earth. So, not to get down on you guys, but for most of you guys know where I've been a couple of years ago. But I'm going to push that all the time because that's one of the things I worried about. I'm just being honest. And thank God I got the chance to come back and take care of that. So I want you guys to do that. So just in case a freak accident happening to you guys, you're not in that same position because it sucks. Just being honest. So number 4, and this kind of goes a little bit with Dawn. Start a business and put your family in your business. Now, put your family in your business doesn't mean they got to know all your personal business. But when it comes to finances, especially family finances, even your kids can be employees. If your kids are your employees, then they can have extra money set aside from them that is also protected. So what you guys have to realize, I know you guys are pretty much kind of upset about a certain a certain president, just go ahead and say it, a certain president's taxes not too long ago. And the reality is, no one, no one that is wealthy, I would say, really has most of their money just in in their regular name. It's there's every business out here that's been profitable. Every major business that you think about, it's a family name. Walmart was the Waltons, so you have to remember that when you're getting things started, sometimes it doesn't mean you have to set up. Sometimes a trust is one way of doing it, but you can also set up a business and things can flow through the business, and it also helps you tax wise. We all know that there's tax benefits to being a business owner that you can use legitimately, even when it comes to debt, that would help you financially and help your family financially too. So keep that in mind. Just something to think about. Again, a business can be anything you do once a year, once a month, whatever the case may be. But get yourself in order. Because again, we don't know what's coming next. And right, Don. Wealthy people don't pay taxes, not they're because they're cheating the system, but because as a business, their taxes are different than individual. Their taxes are just individual. They pay payroll taxes, they pay things like that. But when it comes to their tax balance sheet, it's different because everything goes through the business. So right, get you a side business. Get your side business. It's really simple. Get your side business. I'll just leave it at that. See right here, good things come to those who hustle. Get your hustle on. We all have it in you. And last thing, just a quick shout out because I like to stay here for 30 minutes and get going, especially since we all got to get ready for this debate. Not going to get political on you guys, but I think this is probably one of the most important debates. So let's see what happens tonight. But in wrapping up, find you some business besties. Shout out to my new business besties, Ebony, Leslie, and Jazz. And it doesn't necessarily have to be some longtime friends. It doesn't have to be family. They don't even have to be co-business owners with you. It could just be someone that you can share your experiences in business and family and friendships and everything. Because when you're starting a business with people that know you, they're going to know you as the individual. They're not going to necessarily know you as the business owner because they already have an impression of you as the individual person. The outside person knows you and looks at you always from the business side because they're in the same game. They have the same goals. They have the same path that they're going on. So even if you're not working together, it comes easier to grow in your business when you have some like-minded people around you. So keep that in mind. You can have high school besties, you can have college besties, you can have sorority besties, etc. But when you're taking on something new in a business bestie, you can find them in a Facebook group. Just as simple as finding them in a Facebook group. That's why I found my most recent ones in a Facebook group. So just for example, Dawn, who else is on here? Dawn, Terry, Pam. We're all in a meeting on Tuesdays talking about the stock market, talking about businesses that we can possibly look into investing in with our earnings and stuff from our jobs, our savings, and the stock market. Makes a huge difference when it comes to keep going. So always, 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 when you're starting a new venture and you're trying to do something different, find someone that's on the same path as you. Take them on the path with you. Be comfortable sharing information, building, running ideas to them because they're going to be the ones that help you and understand the journey better than someone that again is always your regular bestie that you go and have drinks with and have a good time, unless they're also happen to be on the same path. So that's my tip for there. Just 6 tips right there. Starting out ending the year, fourth quarter. And I think they're very important for moving forward as we wrap up, however this year ends. Um, so I just wanted to make sure that I piggyback off of what I said um, earlier this month when I mentioned, like, listen, fourth quarter, whatever's happened this year, the good, the bad, the ugly, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. What matters is how you shift moving forward. We have 3 months to keep going with our eyes open, staying woke, and focus on whatever comes at us that catches us off guard. We've already gone through this virus. So, what can come at us next that we can be prepared for now? That's where these things came from today. I definitely I definitely hope that this message, empowered you to make a few changes. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out for me. I can definitely help you in a lot of different ways. And just a couple things for before we wrap up in a few minutes here. For those of you who know, or you were here last week, next week is a special announcement that's coming. It's October the 14th, which is also my mother's birthday. So I'm doing something special in honor of my mother's birthday. For those of you who don't know, she passed in 2005. But my mom, like most of you, get your inspiration from your parents. My mom was the educator in our family. My dad was what you call the business hustler, the got to do whatever it takes to survive. He's a military, he was an army veteran, business owner, all of that. But my mom was the core, like most people. Big Mama was the core of the family, and I remember just a quick little story. You guys know that I always joke that I don't look like my mom at all. I don't think I do, but anyway. Um, but I always pick with my mom because she was so much different. My sister's more like my mom. She isn't mild behavior, and I'm like my dad. I'm quiet, but I'm a firecracker. We all know that. We ain't gonna get into that. But I remember when my mother retired, and I use the story a lot with my clients when they're retiring. Well, when I had clients and they were retiring. I remember when she retired, I was in high school. I think it was a sophomore or whatnot in high school. My mom taught school for 43 years. 43 years. Um, oh, Ebony. See, we already have, unfortunately, that we have that in common. But yeah, 10/14 is a very special day. So I get it. But yes, my mother was, like I said, a school teacher for 43 years, which is how long I've been on this earth. And she retired for a year. And as you guys know, we're in high school and your mother is bored, it ain't easy. I just put it that way. So we had our little battles. One time I remember telling her, you need to get yourself something to do because you need a hobby or something. So soon afterwards, she decided to open up a computer lab because she liked computers and she wanted to learn about computers and even got a grant to teach computers to um, elderly people, senior citizens. So I use that story for a reason. Now, my mother wasn't going through COVID. My mother wasn't living through the banking crisis, the auto crisis, any of that. My mother was bored, wanted something else to do when she retired, and she started a business that was necessary, just as simple as finding people who were retired like her who didn't know how to use a computer. And so, therefore, on Two Notch Road in Columbia, South Carolina, my mom, until she passed, had a computer lab where she taught old people instead of going and knitting yarn, whatever. They came in and took her computer class, learned about Word, learned about hard disk. I'm telling her age. But that's just something that she did. And what made me think about that is simply because my mom had to pivot. She had to do something different. It's time for you guys to pivot. It's fourth quarter. Whatever you're not satisfied with in your life, love wise, work wise, whatever, you have the tools in you already to make that change. I'll say it again. You already have the tools in you to make that change. All you have to do is stop letting it just be a thought, turn it into a movement, and shift to change that life. Because the gift is already in you. The gift was in you before you knew it was there. You just have to see it for yourself and use it. So if you don't get anything from me tonight, remember that you don't always have to have your back up against the wall for your hustle to come out. Sometimes you just have to want it, try something different, and watch it take off. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys. It is now 8:31. My time is up. For those of you, hey Terry, hey Don, for those of you who are watching once again, please don't hesitate to share this video, share it with your friends, follow me. Oh, one more thing. In addition to next week, I will be going live thanks to Rashonda, that's my coach, Rashonda Pratt, who's pushing us to step out there even when we don't feel like it. But I will be going live every day as much as I can to drop some additional jewels, some short videos, but some more stuff that's in there to make sure I'm getting some information out there. I'm dropping all my brain jewels on you guys to help you finish the rest of the year strong too. So stay tuned. Like I said, like, follow, share, whatever you need, because it's time to pivot and do whatever we need to do to come finish out this year strong and take it to victory. So see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to talk a little bit about politics in the market and some other things. So you guys have a good night. Get your popcorn, get ready for this debate. I will see you later. Love you guys. Have a good one.